next week. So it feels like we're getting close to coming back to normality.
Into quarantine, to be quarantining in Miami.
Yeah, I know. I'm very lucky. It's probably the one of the best places to be quarantining for sure. Do you hear me now? I can't hear you now. Uh-uh. Yeah, it's like cutting off a little. Now it's fine. It's like on and off. I don't know why.
Oh, I hope it's gonna get better. Let me know.
No, now I hear you.
Perfect. Beach area.
What is it?
The beach area is still closed.
Yes, it is. It's opening next week, so we're going to the beach next week. But honestly, like I feel like I still have to be kind of careful, like it's not gonna be like from one day to another right away. So I feel like it's gonna be a transitioning from being completely quarantined into living free.
Right. But I watch your stories with your little girl. I think
I know.
we all are so blessed to spend time with the people we love, with our families. So
Yes, no, it's been a great, I enjoyed this time so much. It's, to spend time with my family and being present, because in the usual days it's kind of like you have so many things going on that, it's so hard to stay focused, on one thing. So I feel like now at that time of the quarantine, it was all about family, all about my baby, all about like learning new skills at home, like cooking, and things like this that I usually don't have time to do. And I have to say, I really, really enjoyed this time. And, I know the situation is not great and a lot of people are suffering, which, I'm very sorry about. And, and all that we can do, to help our own community here, we do, but there is also some good parts in it.
But do you stay productive during this time, or like more chill?
I kind of let it be, the whole time. Like some days I feel more productive, some days I feel less productive, Definitely like the majority of my days is more like baby family. And then, of course I take time to think what's the next steps, like I started my new business, a year ago. So things that, still I have to take care of after the quarantine, it's kind of, now is the time to think about it, definitely.
My favorite restaurant started to do delivery. I accepted the situation fully. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll stay home.
Yeah, no, it's funny because in Miami it never stopped. So there always was delivery here of the restaurant. So I know in New York there was they stopped at some point. Yeah. But I'm so excited to meet you. We were Instagram friends basically. It's incredible how this platform like lets you meet so many people and so many interesting people. And and many people that I met through Instagram I actually met in real life and became friends with. So it's great to meet you.
And thank you so much. And I really wanted to cover this topic with you today. I really want to speak about your self-esteem, about self-love, and how important it is to have a strong self-esteem as a woman, especially in the industry we're in. You're a model and I'm just starting. I'm 19 years old, and so I always was passionate about modeling industry, and I knew I'm gonna be there, but it changes so much. I think when you were starting in like I'm starting right now, there are different roles.
I started very, very long time ago. I've been doing modeling for 12 years. Wow. So been a long time. And actually it's funny, today I'm doing like a little talk for kids in the modeling school that I started in years ago. So, and it's interesting to share your experience with young girls who is new in industry, and seeing the whole industry like evolve throughout the years. It's been amazing. And it's also it became much more difficult nowadays to succeed in this industry as when I started. When I started it was hard, but now it's like extra hard. I feel like
Since they're looking for girls with the audience. So for example, like they already want kind of celebrities, like either bloggers or so.
Yeah. It's definitely, before it was more like, okay, you're a beautiful girl, of course you're not stupid, so you can, your way around. But now it's like more like the beauty, I mean, the beauty, of course, is always a priority in this industry, but it's not enough to be beautiful. It's just such a concentration nowadays of beautiful models that, you know, and tall girls, you know, and shorter girls, that now they're more looking for a combination of like beautiful girl having some charm, know how to present herself, but beside all of that, also know what she wants in life and have her own strategy of what she wants. Like, it's not enough just to be a model anymore. Like, you have to be a model slash blogger slash photographer slash, I don't know, like you should pick your direction, you know, what you want to be. Like, for example, you know, you is a great example. Obviously, you know, you're a gorgeous girl and you have all the chances to be a model, but beside that, you're working hard on telling your story to people, and you know, creating a blog about life in New York, you know, something more, you know. And as easy as it sounds to be a blogger, it's really not. Whoever tried to blog, or even if it's a blog or it's just an Instagram, you know, it's a full-time job in a way too. And, you know, it's a lot of effort, and definitely not so many girls are ready to do that effort. And the ones who actually do that effort, like you, have a chance. So definitely, you know, as you said, they look for more of an established girls already.
Also, beauty is such a interesting and weird thing at the same time, because what's the definition of beauty? When you walk into agency, for some agencies you're pretty, for some agencies you're like whatever, you know. So beauty is such a weird thing. That's why I really wanted to talk about confidence, because it comes from within. So what, looking back on you, on a younger self, what gave you that confidence? What made you feel confident? What do you think?
Um, you know, I consider myself a confident person, you know, at the moment, but obviously I always have, you know, as any confident person has their unconfident moments, you know. None of the people in the world are fully confident, you know. I have my moments and days where I feel totally totally unmotivated, totally down, you know. I'm so confused, like where I'm going, you know. And we all have that days, and it's just so important not to forget that, you know, because looking at the Instagram and, you know, and maybe your friend, and, you know, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. So, and they obviously put out there the best they can. So it's important to always remember that even if you're a confident person, it's okay to feel not confident sometimes. And I think that's part of being confident, actually, to accept that fact, you know.
Being like that's what makes us alive, you know. So it's very
So, but coming back to your question, what made me confident? I mean, you know, obviously when I started, I was 13. So, you know, a 13 years old girl, and being confident, I don't think there is many girls at that age that, you know, that feel confident. So obviously I was a teenager, and coming to the industry where is so many beautiful girls and so many already older beautiful girls, you know, obviously you always compare yourself, and, you know, and kind of feel like the youngest one in the group, you know. So definitely on the beginning, I was very uncomfortable, you know, with myself, and, you know, at the jobs, I would be very like preserved in a way. But I think it's like the confidence kind of came to me with time, you know. Once I understood like who I am, what my values are, you know, I I have a great personality, and, you know, I know how to connect with people, and I understood that's my value, you know. And a lot of girls maybe don't have that, you know. I was never like a tall girl. That's something I was very unconfident about, and I was very insecure about. You know, but I kind of found other aspects of myself that kind of helped me to balance this unbalance, you know.
also wanted to ask you about rejections, because model industry is full of rejections. When you got those no's, what made you still feel like, how did you react on those rejections? How did you like help yourself to not to believe them and just to move forward? Was that hard for you, or no?
I mean, listen, of course, in the beginning, you know, when you get rejected, and still, you know, it's gonna, if I'm gonna lie if I'm gonna say that I'm not taking this personally, I think any human being take rejections personally, you know. But with the time, you kind of get used to it, and already, start to take a little bit lightly this, and not taking that much personal anymore. So, obviously if I get rejected, I know most of the times clients, when you go to the castings, most of the times clients don't know what they want really, a lot of times you go there and you think they really know what they want, but in reality they don't. So they just like searching around, and then in the end they pick a girl, but maybe they don't pick you, not because you're not beautiful, but maybe that's not what they've been looking for, in the end. For example, like I would go to a wedding dresses, right, casting, and wedding dresses usually are very long, so it's obvious they will look for a very tall girl, and on the beginning I didn't know that, and obviously I will get very frustrated for not taking this casting. A few times I did got the wedding jobs, but I was wearing high heels like this, so obviously, but most of the times, depending on the job, they pick the girl according to, let's say, the clothing or something, but they don't really, it's just, I cannot say like the things that in the casting that they have exactly the plan. So you just have to go there without expectation and do your best and see what's going to happen.
Sometimes they themselves don't know what they want,
Yeah.
So
You're off sometimes. So if I'm like not listening to you, it's not because I'm disrespecting you.
no, I hope it's gonna get better.
Like the image is great, but when you talk, sometimes I hear you and sometimes I don't hear you. It's weird.
Is it better now?
Yes. I mean, I can hear you better, but the image is a little bit more blurry, so I don't know. I think it's an internet, definitely.
I hope it's gonna get better. So, also, I really wanted to ask you about the job that you're mostly proud of. Like, what was that dream job, or what was that dream moment in your career?
Hmm. I mean, I have a lot of like emotional job that I kind of can attach to. I have attachment to, like obviously a first like well-paid job that I remember, that I got in Asia, and I earned money. So obviously that's something I've been very proud of. And then throughout my career, obviously the big job I've done was, Victoria's Secret, and, Sport Illustrated is something that kind of helped me in my career a lot, as being a commercial girl, it's a different path, so.
Is there a chance you could share a little bit on how you prepared for that Victoria's Secret job, like mentally, not just physically, but of course you eat healthy, you train as much as you can, but mentally, how did you prepare yourself for that to feel confident, to feel the most beautiful you can feel?
I mean, I just can tell you the story. Like, I started modeling, and let's say I was always targeting to be a fashion girl, and not being so high, I kind of, couldn't get there. And obviously, as a commercial girl, I had one path is, to get a Victoria's Secret or Sport Illustrated. That's a chance for commercial girl to be more of a recognizable girl, right? So once I understood that, obviously that became my goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it took some time for me to to kind of prepare myself to get to the casting, to be chosen at casting. I kind of started with Pink, and they picked me right away from the first casting for Pink. So I kind of grew in the brand from Pink, which was a little bit easier,
Yeah.
because Pink is more like a younger kind of girl, and I started to shoot there when I was like 17. So it was more about like, oh, let's have fun on the shoot, like let's be smiley. It was not about like being sexy more, it was more about like we're catering for teenagers. So but with years of working in this brand in Pink, I grew into brand, and then they offered me to shoot for main line, and that's how I started, and then I slowly I got the idea, oh, okay, maybe I should try for the show, and that was the hardest part of the whole journey I had.
Do you remember the feelings that you had just right before this runway? Before you walk?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very proud moment, especially when it it takes you a long time to get there and it doesn't come so easily to you. You appreciate it more. So it definitely was a very memorable moment, and I appreciate this moment so much, coming from a very small town in Russia, and just going throughout all this journey without any expectations, and my main goal was, in modeling, was obviously in the beginning just to travel, and see the world, and feel, have this feeling how far you went with this is definitely a proud moment.
Thank you so much for sharing. Like it's very inspiring and motivating. I mean, all the girls who are looking right now, they're just like, I think, proud of you too. So, and right now I see your little girl, and I also want to ask you, how did your self-esteem change when you became a mom? Because I think the whole perspective on the world changes when you become a mother.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, as a mom, obviously I want my girl to be confident, and motivated, and everything. So, and that's definitely a lot more pressure for me to be that person, because you cannot teach her to be confident if you're not confident yourself. So it became in a way harder, but it's a beautiful journey, and I appreciate everything that I'm going through right now. Of course, I went through some hard times of becoming a mom and combining the modeling, especially because I live not in New York, where the whole modeling jobs are located. So it's been kind of, especially in the beginning when I gave birth, it's been kind of a struggle for me.
But mostly you were based in New York before, right?
Yeah. I lived in New York for, I don't know, for 4 years, 5 years. So I was in New York. I was based in New York. Was working full time there. Obviously, I was traveling around, but always around New York. Um, moving to Miami because my husband lives here, and his work based here. So obviously, it's important for him to be here, and we have a house here. And having a child,
It's
it
absolutely.
changes your life. I never say this is the right way to do, because maybe for some women's it's not, and I see some women's like can easily combine that and do 50-50, and they don't feel like, oh, I'm missing out or something, and they are, they're hustlers, they love to work. I love my job, but in a way I also always wanted to be a mom, and I dreamed to be a mom. And if I'm going to leave my baby, even for a month, I don't know, or for 2 weeks, I just not going to feel good. So,
Absolutely.
I definitely will still do some work and travel here and there, but it's obvious at the moment it will never be like a full-time modeling job anymore.
100%. And also, like during the day, do you have any like favorite rituals that help you to feel better? For example, I wake up every day and I meditate right away. So I need those 20 minutes in the morning where I just go inside myself. I focus. I give myself that loving energy, and just it's very, very important for me to meditate, because if I don't, the whole day is like failed. And stressed, I feel unfocused. So that's very important for me. Also, working out is very important. At least like a 30-minute workout that will boost your energy and make those endorphins going. It's very important. Time for yourself is extremely important as well, when you like do your skincare, when you just do a little bath, or those masks, and just like enjoy yourself. So how about you? What are those moments during the day?
I also have a simple rituals like you mentioned. Like I work out, 4 times a week usually.
Mm-hmm.
I also like trying to squeeze in time for myself, which is not so easy. And I also noticed myself like now, like I have this mom brain where like if I'm home, I constantly, if I hear her, like I just can't focus on one thing. Like I have to completely like go to the forest room to lock myself in, like not to have any sound, like stick the music in the earphones, and just to try to get myself distracted a little bit. because on the regular days, like I could go for for a lunch with my friend or something. So now it became harder to squeeze this time in for myself. But I'm trying to do it, and as you said, it's very, very important. Especially like workout is definitely, you feel so different after workout. Like the days that I'm taking days off is totally different story.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like that. I like that. It's at such a young age. You already know. You already know. You're aware of yourself, and you're meditating and making this effort, which is so important. I actually have a very hard time meditating.
Because I moved to New York when I was 16, and it made
Mhm.
me very responsible and made me very I had to grow up so quickly,
Right.
because I realized that if I don't take care of myself, then no one would.
Yeah.
So I just started to live here at 16, and now I'm 18, 19. And so it's been a hard but interesting journey. But yeah, like it's very important to learn this world, how it works, and just be the best version of yourself, I think. So,
Right.
and as a like also as a mother, where do you get that energy to give to your husband, to your daughter? Where do you fulfill yourself mostly? Like through music, or like through nature, through like reading books, or do you have that source of energy that helps you to to fulfill yourself?
I mean, obviously I have, my interest, like, I love to cook like raw vegan desserts. That's something, I'm really passionate about.
Damn, I cannot, like, I tried to do those cookies in the beginning of quarantine. They were like stones. I thought I'm gonna break my teeth or something, because I do like a healthier version. So like to cut a little bit of like sugar, butter, and then at the end it doesn't work
Right.
because follow the recipe. And when I looked at your cakes, I was like, this is a masterpiece. This is not a cake. Like, how are and I saw your live with Christina. I was like, God damn, I'm Christina.
That's the funniest live we've done. It was really the funniest experience. Like, that's why I wasn't cooking for so many years, for a reason. I said to her, I'm not giving up on you. I'm gonna make you cook.
I'm very good at like making salads or like simple things like salmon in the oven, or like,
Right, right.
but when it's very simple. And also, how's your like nutrition plan during quarantine? Do you still eat healthy, or you it's a little bit more chill for you during this time? Like how do you treat yourself
I'm
during
actually like pretty proud of myself, because in the beginning of quarantine, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna go, which direction. But I've been pretty proud of myself, and also of my husband, because I feel like we're on the same page together. That feeling when you like motivating each other.
it's extremely important when your partner is on the same page, because when someone eats unhealthy and you're trying to stay healthy,
It's a
it
plus.
doesn't work. When you
Yeah.
have your fridge, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah, so we try to cook, we cook a lot at home. So, we order sometimes from restaurants, like sushi, because sushi is something we cannot cook. Um, but most of the time we cooked home, and, obviously on the regular days without quarantine, like we went a lot out to restaurants, where it's a lot of, people put a lot of oil there and sodium and everything. So it's harder to control what you eat. So being now home and being able to control what you eat is definitely kind of became easier to keep your diet. And also, like, when you go out, you want to have a drink or something, get a little looser. So here is like more about, we were staying with our routine more strictly. And
Mhm.
also, been working out a lot together. So I would say I did pretty pretty good.
That's awesome. And going back to ice cream, I saw that you have an ice cream company, like gelato company,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It's a light.
It's called Vitali. So
Ah,
it's a vegan gelato, which is sugar free as well. It's sweetened with monk fruit and dates.
Mm-hmm.
And we started this company with my partner, who is my friend. Her name is Ali. So that's why we combined two names, Vita and Ali. So it became Vitali.
And is it in Miami or?
Yes, we are very new, local company. We produce here in an ice cream facility, but we cannot ship yet. So we're mostly selling in like healthy cafes here, but with the quarantine, unfortunately, the business had to stop, but
When I'm in Miami, I think by the pool.
yeah, of course, I'll let you try all of the flavors. When-
Awesome.
yes.
And what are your plans after quarantine? After those things are over, like, do you miss something the most, or do you have plans after quarantine, or you guys are staying in Miami?
Actually, I kind of had this discussion with my husband. What do we miss the most during quarantine? And I think traveling, of course. As a person who traveled, all my life, I miss traveling. I think the first place I wish to go would be Bahamas. I just want to go to like perfect beach.
Same here. I was thinking to go to Miami next week, but they have those quarantine rules that you have to quarantine for 14 days if you're coming from.
Yeah.
So that's not very exciting, but
Yeah.
I to get some sun. So, and I think we can actually finish this live, and we covered a lot of things, and I'm very, very grateful that you joined me today, and it made me warmed my heart that you joined me and talked about all those experiences in your life. So I wish you a very, very good day, and I will save this live and
Thank
share.
you. Yes. Thank you so much. Bye. Nice to meet you.
Bye.